On 9/11, I was a senior executive in the FBI, and I was assigned to the FBI laboratory where I was responsible for all the scientific and technical response of the FBI worldwide. Under me, I had all the evidence response teams and program. I had the hazmat teams and program. I had all the bomb techs and the bomb program and the hazardous devices school in Huntsville, Alabama. And I had the crisis response unit that I was responsible for. We got our first phone call from New York saying that a plane had hit the World Trade Center. And as a typical boss, I'm asking my chief of the evidence team, who was it, how many were heard, is it a big plane, small plane? Of course, I didn't give him time to answer any of those questions. I turned on the Today Show because Katie Kirk was my sweetheart, and my wife knows that. Right. I sat there and I watched the second plane hit the tower. The Marine in me kicked in. I said, first, one time is an accident, two times something's up. So I then sped up to D.C., and what usually takes about an hour took me about 20 minutes to get up there. And as I came up over the hill, there's black smoke coming across I-95. I see people running from the Pentagon, smoke coming out, fire coming out of the Pentagon, and I knew this is something big is happening today.
You said you had family history with law enforcement in New York City. Did you have friends and relatives that were affected by the attack?
Yeah. In fact, you gave me chills. One of my good friends from high school, Ricky Hall, who was our quarterback, I played football, basketball, and baseball with him, was killed. Lenny Hatton, one of our bomb techs from the New York, was killed going back in to rescue people. John O'Neill, an FBI agent who had recently retired, had just started as the head of security for the World Trade Center. He was killed trying to rescue people. And with Ricky, I have a story because my mother called me one night and said, Mrs. Hall can't find, they haven't heard anything from Ricky. Do you think you could do something? And I just happened to be going up to New York the next day. And we flew up there in the FBI plane, helicopter picked me up. I had the pilot fly us around the site, and I had seen the satellite pictures beforehand and knew it was quite a scene. But as I saw the scene from the helicopter and then walked it, the Bible verse came in about ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I knew we weren't going to find my friend Ricky because of what had happened. The buildings had collapsed, and it's so true. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. That's why we couldn't find a lot of the people, and why it was important to us to try to, every site, and this was an attack on America. A lot of people keep on saying New York, New York, but it was an attack on America. Washington was attacked, and then we had the heroes of Flight 93 out in Pennsylvania that saved a lot of people. That other plane was heading to D.C., and it could have saved my life. We don't, at the time, didn't know where it was headed. Was it headed to the Capitol? Was it headed to the White House? Or was it headed to the FBI building? We know they know about us. Right. So I want people to remember it wasn't just New York, it wasn't just Washington, it wasn't just the heroes of Flight 93. America, we were attacked because it really starts, the protection of America is starting with the average everyday citizen. We are the eyes and ears of law enforcement. It has to start with people being vigilant, with people wanting to become involved. Where prior to 9/11, people didn't want to be involved. They were reluctant to maybe report that strange knapsack that was sitting there, or that car that all of a sudden showed up outside of a building. We need everybody to understand that this can happen again, and it can happen here. And I think we're hearing that in the news today about another credible threat that is being investigated. But it's very important for everybody to realize that they are part of protecting America. No, it shouldn't affect our lives, because if it affects our lives, the terrorists have won. Right. That's what they want. They want us to be scared. They want us to alter our lifestyle. They want us to limit our freedom. So my recommendation is go about your business. Be vigilant. Don't be intimidated by these threats. The government receives hundreds and hundreds of tips all the time. We received all sorts of information, and luckily, and because of the good work of the FBI and other law enforcement and civilians, we haven't had another act. But we got to keep in mind they're trying. They're still trying.